Hello, my name is Mike Hogbaum. I'm a pastor at LaGrave Christian Reformed Church downtown. I've known Peter now for something like 8 or 9 years, and over that time we've become good friends. Good friends because we enjoy sharing the joys and the challenges of pastoral ministry together. He in his context and me in mine. It was a while back when we were talking about ministry and life and talking about what it's like to be thrown into the deep end of the pool, the deep end of a lake. You know, that feeling of being overwhelmed. And we were talking about it in the context of ministry. And I was sharing to him about a time when I was thrown into the deep end. And that was a season of ministry when I was living and working in Istanbul, Turkey with my wife and my family. Being thrown into the deep end in that context was completely exhausting. Because when you become a resident alien in a foreign country, all of the supports of your home culture are removed. Things like food and language and work. Values like family and religion, all of those things have changed, and the supports are removed, and you feel yourself treading water in the deep end. For me, this was felt most acutely in my daily life at work. I worked in a company that was made up of many Turkish people, which required me to speak Turkish for 8 or 9 hours a day. That process was exhausting. It required me to pay close attention to every word in every sentence and every paragraph. I had to pay attention to the body language of my coworkers in order to hear what they were saying in Turkish, interpret what they were saying into English for my own understanding, and then making the attempt to take my English response and return it or translate it again back into Turkish in order to speak to them so that they could understand what I was trying to say. That process was exhausting. 8, 9 hours a day, 5 days a week, and by the end of the day, I was tuckered out. It was a little bit like I imagine, or like I've experienced, and maybe you have too, treading water in a lake while your friends are resting on a diving raft or on an inflatable raft. You are kicking and paddling, trying to keep your head above water and communicating with your friends who are on rafts, floating easily, requires every ounce of energy you have. It is exhausting. As I was sharing that story with Peter about my experience in Turkey, his eyes lit up. And he said to me, that's exactly what he feels like. That's exactly what his students feel like as they try to listen and understand the people around them when they shop, when they hop on the bus, when they go to work or eat at a restaurant. It's like being thrown into the deep end each and every day. And it's no wonder then that Peter and Team Jabez come home at the end of a day of school and of work exhausted. That conversation was just one time when Peter and I have gained a new, deeper understanding of one another. Understanding is a piece of wisdom in the Bible. Understanding is the foundation of love. Love for our neighbor and love for God. My prayer for you is that through the ministry of Jabez Ministries, you will come to a deeper understanding of your neighbors. Go in peace.